Hi and welcome to today's tutorial. Now this video is on the making of this trending jumbo Ankara pants that's been on the internet for a bit. It has a 3 inches elastic waistband which is very comfortable and can fit almost any size. Now let's get into the cutting and sewing proper. Here on my cutting table, I have my fabric on fold, and you just want to make sure that this will cover a quarter of your hip measurement with at least 6 to 8 inches. So I'm going to mark out the length of my trouser, and this trouser will have a 3 inches waistband. 3 inches elastic waistband. This wasn't the elastic I went for at the end of the day. I actually changed my mind because this one was too small for me. So I have 1.5 inches bending allowance at the bottom. I'm sorry this video didn't capture that. And then I'm just marking excluding the 3 inches waistband. Okay. And of course you need half of an inch to sew the waistband to your Ankara fabric. So that's the measurement I'm just making here right now. And then I'm going to square this out. So I'll be taking all my measurements from here. So I have my tape measure here. I'm going to be marking my waist to my hip, which is 10 inches. And I'm going to be coming down 3 inches for my crotch line. And I'm just going to square this out also. Considering that this is a high waist, you might actually ignore, leaving out your waistband so that it's freer for you at the crotch line. The freer it is, the better anyways. So now this is my hip line right here, and this is my crotch line. So on the crotch line, I'm going to be taking a quarter of my hip measurements. The quarter of my hip measurement I'm working with is 10 inches, and I'm going to be adding 4 inches extra for ease, and that includes 1 inch for sewing allowance. And then for my crotch extension, I'm going to be coming out by 2.5 inches. And I'm just going to be taking this all the way down. So whatever I have here, which is 14 inches, I'm going to be marking that at the top here, which also serves as my waistline. But then I'm just going to be coming in by half of an inch. I just don't want it straight, and to avoid any bulge, and I'm going to connect this line. And then to create the crotch curve, of course, you should be familiar with this. I'm just going to come out by 1 inch from here, and then I'm going to connect the 3 points together to create my crotch curve. So whatever I have here at the crotch line as well, I'm going to be taking the exact thing at the hemline of this pant trouser. Don't forget, it's a jumbo pant trouser, so it has to be the same thing, or even excess if you want, but I want it to be straight. So I'm connecting the lines, and we'll just proceed to cutting this out immediately. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you found this tutorial value for your data. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Now after cutting, I've placed my front fabric on another fold of fabric, and then for the back, and the only difference is that the back is 2 inches wider than the front fabric. So what I'm doing just now is marking 2 inches on the folded back fabric. So the back fabric is 2 inches wider than the front piece. So I'll keep marking that 2 inches all the way. I'm extending the crotch curve there, and I'll continue marking my 2 inch, and then I will connect my crotch curve for the back piece. At the waist area here for the back piece, I'm going to be going up by 1 inch. This is for my butt allowance. You can do 1.5 inches or even 2 inches if you're on the bigger side. And then I'll be connecting it to my side seam, to the side seam of the front, just like I'm doing. And that's pretty much it for drafting out the back pattern of this jumbo pants. And then of course we'll proceed to cutting this out. So you can decide to do 1.5 inches at the hemline, or just cut down straight to 2 inches allowance, okay, up to the crotch line. Now after cutting, I'm just separating the back piece because it's on fold. So you have to separate the back piece and the front piece. So this jumbo pant is going to have a very simple pocket. I'm marking out my 1/2 inch sewing allowance to the elastic. From that 1/2 inch, I'm coming down by 1 inch, and I'm also coming down by 7 inches, which will serve as my pocket opening. And I'm giving this a notch for both the front and the back pieces. In drafting out my pocket, I have 4 pieces of fabric on my table. The length of this is 13 inches and the wideness I'll be needing is about 7 to 8 inches. This is a very simple pocket, there's no drama to it. So I'm just cutting out the 7 inches that I need. And from here on, I'm just trying to create a curve for my pocket. There are various ways of making a pocket. There's no one standard way, so just work with whatever works for you. So I have my pocket here, 4 pieces, and I'll be attaching these to all 4 sides seam of my trouser. So I have my trouser here. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and hold it on the crotch line with 1/2 inch, and then I'll attach my pockets. So here I have my front piece. I've held down the crotch line. I attached my pockets to all 4 sides, okay, of my trouser, and this is what it's looking like. I'm going to be getting the back piece of my trouser, and I'm going to be placing them right sides facing each other, opening up the pocket. Make sure that the pockets are well opened up and all the side seams aligned properly, because we'll be taking this to the sewing machine, stitching 1 inch of the allowance, curving it all the way to the pocket up to this point, and then I will continue to sew 1 inch all the way down to hold the sides together. I'll do that for this and I'll do that for this, and then I'll also use 1/2 inch to hold the crotch area. I'm down holding down both sides of my pants, and as you can see, the pocket is well hidden. When I give this a good press, you will notice it. Now for the waist area, you can decide to use a pure elastic without any Ankara fabric casing, and that's what I'm going to be adopting. Now I have my elastic piece right here. It's quite flexible, so that's very good when picking the elastic you want to use. And then the length of this measures about 27 inches, and this should work for about every side. So I'm going to hold this down now with a stitch or two on my sewing machine. Like I mentioned, I changed the elastic from the initial one I showed on the video, and the width of this is 3 inches. So I'm going ahead again to run another stitch just to make sure I hold this down together firmly. And then I also decided to open up the seam and hold down both pieces, okay, of the seam, so that it's actually looking neat and it doesn't move or tread out when it's been worn. So you might want to do the same thing. So now our elastic is as one piece. Getting my trouser, I went ahead to weave the top area so that when I join it to my elastic, it looks neat. So now get your seam, whichever you want, may want it to be by the side or at the back. I want mine to be by the side. So I'm just going to match up um, the seam of the elastic and one side seam of the trouser. I turned the elastic to the wrong side actually. So I'm matching this up and I'm going to hold it down with a pin. As you can see, and then I will get the other side seam. Well, I'm just going to divide the elastic into two, and then I will get the side seam of my trouser the other side, and then I'll also hold it down with a pin. I'm doing this just so that I share this elastic proportionally, you know, when sewing. So now just make sure you have your needle in place, holding down both your elastic and your fabric, and then you want to just stretch your elastic as you sew along. When doing this, you have to be really patient. There's absolutely no hurry, or otherwise you will make a mistake. So just keep stretching your elastic and then holding on your fabric onto the elastic, and then you keep sewing using a quarter of an inch. Don't forget, we've already weaved the top. It was actually half of an inch, so we've weaved about a quarter of an inch and we're left with a quarter of an inch. So when I get to the part where the pin is on the side seam, I'm just going to make sure I drag it very well so that the remaining fabric accommodates my elastic, as you can see. And I think this is quite faster than having your elastic in a casing. So you just keep repeating the same process until you're done holding down both your elastic and your fabric together. Don't forget, keep stretching your elastic. And of course, if you do make any mistakes, you can always stop to correct this. Because if you're doing this for the first time, it will not be as easy as it looks actually. So I've gotten to the other side seam where I held this down with a pin, and then I'm just going to stretch both the elastic and the fabric together. So I was really struggling with this part for a bit, but yeah, I was able to overcome it. So now I've gotten to where I started, and then you can decide to run double stitches just to hold it down firmly in place. I'd recommend that you run a double stitch, and this second stitch will actually be easier and faster for you. So just keep stretching your elastic and then you run a straight stitch. Trim out any loose threadings at the end of the day, weave the inner, and then of course our jumbo pants is ready. This is what it looks like. As you can see, the side seam of the elastic matches up with the side seam of our trouser, and this is what it looks like. Thank you guys so much for watching. Till my next tutorial, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and please share. Bye.